90s were more like everyone was doing their thing, and it was a very confusing time. It was the best decision I made coming here.
I realized that there was something that was going on that I needed to explore.
Neve has impacted me in so many ways. I was in the middle of my college experience when I landed at Neve, and after spending time in Neve, I realized, really, nothing excites me more than learning Torah.
You learn it, you live it, you experience it, and you grow to love it a lot.
I was so inspired intellectually that after one day of classes, I decided I wanted to stay.
I was an atheist. We did Hanukkah, Pesach Seder, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. I spent 8 or 9 months at Neve. It was amazing. I definitely do not think I would be where I am today as far as Yiddishkeit goes had I not spent that time in Neve. I've been in Kiev for many years now, 17 years, and with my husband about 12 years. We've been with Emmet. I go to college campuses, junior highs, high schools, married ladies. I talk to secular, to Beis Yaakov, and everything in between. I really do feel like the time that I spend in Neve gave me a sense that I can't just sit back and let so many Jewish women potentially miss what I got.
The year 2000, I mean, the whole Y2K scare had come and gone. I was this broadcast producer who took a 2-month leave of absence to learn at Neve Yerushalayim. Even one class was so much more enriching than anything I'd ever picked up from 10 years of being a celebrity interviewer. The Jewish stars are here at Neve Yerushalayim. There's no doubt about it. In addition to being a wife and a mother who resides in Israel, I am the producer and host of Aish.com's weekly podcast, which is called At Home in Jerusalem. It's something that could have never happened had I not gone to Neve Yerushalayim. 20 years later, I still remember these classes, and I remember the lessons that I need about Jewish home life, Jewish family, and it has propelled me to further the work that I do now on behalf of Jewish families.
I come from Panama, which makes it like we live in a bubble. I never met anyone. It was amazing. My favorite thing was going to a dining room where all of the seminaries were, and you had 1,000 people. It has opened up tons of doors for me, tons of opportunities, and because of this, I'm doing things in my life that for sure at 18 years old, I wouldn't have hoped for my life, even at 45 or 50.
I was just going to go for 3 weeks. I thought 3 weeks would be enough to learn everything there is about Torah. Learning at Neve, learning Torah at Neve made me expand in every direction.
At the time of my Jewish identity, I was looking for where I belonged. They call it the Neve bubble, but it really was like a bubble where you weren't judged. You could ask whatever you wanted.
My career I'd given so much time to, and my own Judaism I'd never given any time to. I ended up staying teaching for Neve for 2 years, and because of that, I got introduced to someone else who was a real pioneer in the Jewish world, and they sponsored me on a green card to come to America to continue working in Jewish education and outreach, which is what I do now today for Olami. And I wouldn't be here, and it wouldn't have happened, and I wouldn't have the knowledge, the passion, the education, the commitment, and the sense of purpose if it wasn't for Neve. Neve became my home. It became my family. I just owe so much to Neve because they gave me a depth and wisdom and understanding and direction. It still makes me tear up.
It's my pleasure to welcome everyone to Reunite 50 of Neve Yerushalayim. Wow. This is fantastic. This celebration is for you. What a schus. Look around at this room, Doros and Doros. What a schus. Give yourself a round of applause. And right here in the front, we are honored to have the staff, the Rabbanim, the Majichot, teachers, secretary, house mothers, computer department, staff that's been there for 50 years, new staff, old staff, and I'd like to now also say some of the old favorite teachers of everybody. And there's a long list from Mrs. Hadassah Halpern, Mrs. Wexler, Mrs. Goldberg, Rabbi Whedon, Rabbi Cowan, Rabbi Brown, Rabbi Kellerman, Rabbi Marcus, Rebbitzin Heller, Mrs. Kleinman, Mrs. Winkler, Mrs. Leviton, Mrs. Bowman, Mrs. Calazan, house mothers, Simi Liff, Gitti Appel, Susan Kagan, our current house mothers, our old Rebbitzins, Rebbitzin Rotman, Rebbitzin Feldman, Rebbitzin Walken, Rebbitzin Orangery, and all the current staff. We'd like to thank you. Wow. 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 A sincere thank you. We also have with us our wonderful students, the alumni, our precious alumni. Do we have here women from the 1970s? Wave your hand. Thank you. And where do we have women from the 1980s? Wave your hands. And do we have women here from the 1990s? Wave your hand. Thank you. Do we have women here from the 2000s? What about the past 10 years? Who is here from the past 10 years? Do we have current Neve students? Current Neve students? And what about all the other schools that are on Neve campus? Midrashat Hila, B'no Sar, B'no Avigail. We also have with us a few beloved friends of Neve, like myself. And now, it's my honor to introduce the Dean, the visionary, the founder of Neve Yerushalayim himself, Rabbi David Refson.
I never thought that in my later years I would be introduced like a rock star. You know, being a rabbi was fine, you know, with me anyway. This is the last of a whole lot of events. Last week we had all over America. We were there with Rabbi Liff, Mrs. Heller, and we had gewaltig nachas in each place we went to. and I had to lie to hundreds of women as to remembering them very well. Tonight, of course, I really do remember each of you very well. It's, Yaakov Avinu introduced Ma'ariv to the world. And the Mefarshim explain that is because Ma'ariv, the night tefillah, symbolized his own life, which was essentially a life of nisyonos, a life of darkness. With all of them, Yaakov Avinu could claim to be a victim, or to have been given advice by his mother or his father. In this week's parasha, we have an Esoyon, which according to Chazal, Yaakov Avinu brought upon himself. Chazal go so far as to apply the pasuk of holding on to the ears of the dog. No one in his right mind takes a dog and holds its ears. Machzik be'oznei kelev is not something that people do. And yet, Yaakov Avinu was determined to meet up with Esau. He had recently prevailed over Sarai shel Esau after fighting all night, and he emerges triumphant. Why did he need this meeting with Esau? He was not unaware of the dangers. Shema Yaharoig, Shema Yahoreg, say Chazal. He knew that the outcome could be him being killed, having to kill others. He took elaborate precautions, dividing the camp, and provided a script to everybody about what they should say. Amazingly, Esau is totally captivated by Yaakov's coming to him. And he suggests that, what we would call in present-day terms, they make a coalition. Yaakov Avinu was totally uninterested in such a thing, and he had to make elaborate excuses as to why it wouldn't work. The question is, what did he want from the meeting? What was he trying to achieve? We see that real peace he didn't want. War he was afraid of. The hatred of decades he was afraid of. What was the purpose of meeting Esau? Say the Mefarshim, the purpose was kachno isbir chosi. He wanted Esau to take his blessing. What was the purpose of this? My teacher, Abeli Lapin Zatzal, explained as follows. He says, it's all very well to say that having triumphed over the Sar of Esau, Yaakov Avinu was given a new name. He was no longer Yaakov. He was no longer an appendage of anyone else. He was Yisrael. And everyone subsequently, every Jew subsequently in the world, would take this name Yisrael. However, taking on a new name is not in itself to take on a new character. Yaakov Avinu realized, said my teacher, that what was required was a total transformation, a paradigm shift in his own attitudes. The parameters had to be different. And he did this by returning all of these gifts, giving all of the 680 animals back to Esau. What was the result of his giving it back? Vayovai Yaakov Sholem Ir Shechem. We would have thought that Yaakov Avinu had given away a good part of his net worth, that he was depleted by meeting up with Esau. The Torah tells us quite the opposite, that by divesting himself of that which was of no use to his new name, by getting rid of all of the appendages which connected him to his past, he was then ready, Vayovai Yaakov Sholem. This, said my teacher, is an enormous lesson for us. We become whole by divesting ourselves of that which is not genuinely, uniquely, and authentically our own. Once we are left with that which we really need, so as Rashi tells us, Sholem begufoi, Sholem b'mamoinoi, Sholem chosak klum, me'atot doira. He was lacking nothing, dafka, after he got rid of all of these animals. The Neve women represent these values in a way which very few others do. Neve can give people a new identity. We can make people b'nois Torah, but it requires two things. First of all, as was the name Yisrael, it came from the struggle. The person themselves has to struggle to earn their Yiddishkeit. Second of all, they have to rid themselves of that which connects them to the negative within them. Only by so doing can a person take on an authentic new identity. There are very few groups anywhere who represent this willingness and this ability for true change. And you are indeed an inspiration to all of us. May you, the alumni of Neve, be those who make us Zoiche to the Binyan Beis HaMikdash b'meheira v'yameinu amen.
I had always had 1,000 questions, but no real outlet to go to. So for me, Neve was extremely eye-opening in a holistic space as well as a personal space.
It's very scary to graduate from college and not kind of do the same thing that all your friends are doing, like go straight to the working world. Being here kind of put me in a scenario where for the first time, I was exploring my Judaism with girls who were all exactly like me.
I always felt connected to my Judaism, but I didn't actually understand that like my connection was like through a Jewish avenue. There's something very unique about being here between the staff and the girls that are here, and how everyone is just has this singular focus on working on yourself. Being at Neve like opened up a whole new world for me.
I came from South Africa, traditional background, Shabbos, lighting Friday night candles. I gained a better sense of self-awareness, a better sense of identity and like knowing where I come from, my Jewish roots, and a better sense of how I want to live and how I want to raise my family, my kids.
I knew what I wanted in my life, and I knew kind of what it took to get there, but I wanted to develop the tools and really the relationship with Hashem. Every single person that I meet in Neve inspires me.
I wanted to learn more about Judaism and how it applied to my life as an individual. Being here is very empowering and helps me feel like I can be a leader when I leave.
I cannot believe it's 50 years. I can't believe it.
50 years, I can't imagine like the cycles and cycles and cycles of people who started at Neve and are now grandparents, and their kids might be at another school on this campus. To be part of 50 years, I feel very, very privileged and humbled by that.
There are 50 years of people that feel the exact same way I do, and 50 years worth of girls that lives have been impacted.
This force has been in the world, and it's just been giving people the fullness of their lives.
Without Neve, just think about how many hundreds of thousands of families wouldn't be connected to Judaism.
To think how many women have been impacted and that I'm also a part of this change.
It's incredible to be a part of that.
One of the major factors in the success of Neve has been our willingness to adapt to meet the needs of the students who are coming to us, whether it be the need for a new dorm, the Simcha Hall, all kinds of facilities which make life better for the Neve student of our time. We have a gymnasium today, and we are increasing its size, B'mirat Hashem, in the near future. We also have an art studio in Neve, which is very much in demand. We have a garden which is fertilized entirely by the organic waste which is created in our kitchen.
I tell the girls all the time that there is no place in the world like Neve Yerushalayim.
All I can say is that working at Neve is one of the most inspiring jobs I can possibly imagine. The students are so inspiring, where they're coming from, where they're going. They're looking to get in touch with their roots, looking for a deeper meaning in life.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu handpicks these girls and brings them here in miraculous ways. Being a part of that is more than any dream in the world.
Anyone who's privileged to learn with Neve people, Neve girls, Neve women, gains much more than the women who are receiving from us.
When I'm in the front of my class and I teach my students, I don't see my students only. I see their children, the families they're going to produce. I see generations.
The families that will be made through our graduates marrying are going to significantly change the face of the Jewish people.
They were educating Jewish women to be Jewish women. Now that's something I'd like to be part of.
The proceeds of this campaign will be used to establish a proper scholarship fund to enable us to service the alumni who return to America in a more comprehensive way, to increase the amount of Neve Shabbatonim, which we make to encourage women to come to the school, what we call a taste of Neve, and also our continued efforts to keep the Neve campus as beautiful as it is today. Your donation will be instrumental in Neve's ability to play its part in ensuring the future of Am Yisrael. Thank you.
We hope that you will join us in celebrating a glowing past and an ever-growing future.
Neve was your home. Neve helped you and so many others to build a home. Let's reunite. Let's help all our sisters from all over the world come home. Thank you so much.
I am Neve.
I am Neve. I am Neve.
I am Neve.
Wow. And now, it's my honor to introduce the beloved Rabbi, father of so many Neve alumni, Rabbi Tchaikovsky.
Good evening. I have been asked to speak for 4 minutes. It's not clear to me if it means 4 minutes maximum, 4 minutes minimum, or 4 minutes exactly. So I'll try to keep all 3. 50 years, let me just make something clear. There's a lot of misunderstanding about 50 years. Neve started, in spite of anybody's memories around, Neve started Cheshvan 1970. That's when Neve started. I wasn't here yet. My Vester was here with Neve Oliver Sholem. And after 2 or 3 years, Rabbi Vester remained, and a few years later they brought me in. I was teaching already. I don't know how well, but never mind. What I wish to give over this evening is the concept of Yovel. 50 years is called in the Torah Olam. Olam, we know, means one of 2 things. Either the whole world or the whole of time, forever. It has a 3rd meaning in the category of time of 50 years. We're now in the 50th year, which can be considered already as 50 years. There is, however, another meaning to the word Olam. We find in many Sifrei Kodesh that each person is an Olam. Each person is a world of their own. When each of you came to Neve, you came to build your Olam, your world. You didn't only come to build your world, you built it. We find that when Moshe Rabbeinu tells Klal Yisrael at the beginning of the Devarim that they began with 70 people and finished K'kochvei hashamayim l'rov, like the stars in heaven. Meforshim explain that usually when a small number becomes very large, it loses the quality of each individual. However, in the case of Klal Yisrael, they had increased to the millions, but they remained each one an individual world of their own with the highest of quality. That is what happened in Neve. Each young lady who came here worked hard, worked with Mesiras Nefesh to build her own world. But it didn't finish in Neve. For all of you have built your worlds after Neve as well. You continued building your worlds. Each one has built a different world. One has built a world of chesed, one has built a world of Torah, one has built a world of teaching, one has built a world of working with the tzibur, one has built a world of family. Each and every one has their world which they have built and have continued building throughout all the years. These worlds are very special to us. When I see all of you here, and some photographs as well, we get a tremendous amount of nachas. The nachas comes from how much all of you have put in to produce what we see here this evening. And it is so great, I find it difficult to find the words to describe it. Each individual person has taken from Neve, used what they got from Neve, and still remember everything till this day. I want to finish with one small thing. In Yirtzeh Hashem, we will all very soon go to meet the Mashiach. And when he asks any of you, where did you learn? You will be able to say, Neve Yerushalayim. Thank you.
Don't we wish we could sit here all night and listen to Rav Tchaikovsky? It's my honor to introduce a beloved rabbi of Neve, Rabbi Yonah Aryeh Refson.
There's one very major difference between this gathering and the ones we had a zchus to participate in America. And that is that tonight I want to thank Mrs. Refson for what we see here and what we saw in America are drops of the glowing past. And I remember since I was growing up, my father always told me, do you know what the purpose of success is? He says, success is not a goal. Success is always the step to a new beginning, to more. Never rest and say, wow, I was successful. The whole power and the reason of success is to gather koyach for the next step, to grow more. And as I was learning last week's parasha, the makom for this idea was Parshas Vayetze. We see in Parshas Vayetze that Yaakov Avinu runs away from his brother and he walks back to Har HaBayis. Why did he walk back? Har HaBayis was the place where Akedas Yitzchak happened. Akedas Yitzchak, one of the highest moments ever. But Yaakov Avinu said, Efshir b'mokim, what did we do with it? What did I, Yaakov Avinu, do with these most special moments of Akedas Yitzchak? That's when that night he gathered the stones and he dreamt about the sulam, about the ladder mutzav arza, on the ground, v'roishoy megia shamaymo. This is the step how we turn success into facts. First of all, you have a dream. Then you gather all the stones together, the Achdus. And then you see the way, Sulamutz of Arza. You start from the ground where you are, and you think about where could you get to. And we see afterwards in the parasha that when he comes to the well, that nobody could pick up the stone. It was so easy for him to pick the stone. Why? Because if one stone is made out of Achdus, so there's no stone in the world, everything is so easy to do. This idea, these ideas we see in the parsha are the ideas for the growing future that we have for Neve. The first idea is, for the first 50 years of Neve was here, it was very nice. People used to send girls to Neve. Windows are closing on the opportunities of sharing Yiddishkeit. We all know the rate of intermarriage. Vayetze Yaakov, my father decided that Neve has to go out there and share in every university campus to everybody who not only wants to listen, people don't even know there's something to hear. And that's where we started the Taste of Neve, taking our wonderful staff and going around and giving them the taste of what being close and knowing HaKadosh Baruch Hu is. That's the first part of the dream. The second part of the dream is we would like to establish a tuition foundation that money should not be an issue for any girl who wants to come here. And the third idea is helping our alumni. It's not easy. Here in Neve, it's much easier becoming close to Hashem, but going back to the world, it's not easy. And finding a place for Shabbos, worth ethics, shidduchim. So Baruch Hashem, Father did appoint people in New York and Los Angeles. We need much more to help to be there for the Neve girls to put into fact the theory they learned here in Neve. This is the three ideas based, but the first one is that's why we need the gathering. We need your koyach. We need the achdus. We need, as Rabbi Liv told me, the Baal HaTurim says, "V'ina sulam utzav arza," says the Baal HaTurim, sulam begematria momen. We need money for this. We have to have the funds in order to do it. So for many years, people came to my father with the whole idea of matching, and my father said, if there's no real matcher, I'm not doing it. And Baruch Hashem, one of the friends of my father came to him, and he said that if we, the alumni, we raise $2.5 million, he will give $5 million for all these dreams to become true. We can't make these dreams true without you. And without the achdus and everybody getting together and participating in the schos that in the next 50 years, Neve will not only grow, but will go everywhere, and it's so, so needed. You see here the full hall. We saw in America the thousands of girls. This is a drop in the sea of Jewish teenagers. There's so much more to do. And this is what this gathering is for. To gather the koichas together, and Bezrat Hashem for the details of how we could do this thing. So my brother-in-law, Rabbi Michal Rokach, which also deserves, he made this whole thing happen. Days and nights he was working. He will, Bezrat Hashem, give us the details. So I want to thank you again so much for coming here. And Bezrat Hashem, let's all have the schos that when Mashiach comes, we will not only come with our koyach, we will be responsible for so many more neshamas coming back home. Thank you.
Wow. I feel like all pumped up, like I'm ready. He said we could do it. He said it's our koach. We could do it. How? He said we could do it. We just need achdus, and we could do it. I'm like, okay, how? I know it. I know we have koach. I know we have achdus. I feel it. I feel it. We could do it. I know we could do it. How? How are we going to do it? He just said we have to raise $2.5 million, and then all those dreams of Rabbi Refson could come true. How? To hear the hows on what I can do, a little person, what you can do, a great person or a regular person, what you can do to actually make this happen, to hear the hows, the master priest brainchild behind 7 events. This is the 7th reunion that we're having. I'd like to call upon Mr. Michael Rokach to please tell us how are we going to do this? I know we could do it, but how?
Okay, so first of all, thank you, my dear brother-in-law, Rabbi Yonah Refson and Mrs. Esther Yarmish, for everything that you've done for this event and for your kind words. I couldn't have done this without the wonderful staff of Neve. They all get a round of applause, each and every one of them. And of course, I couldn't have done this without my dear wife. She was sitting right here. I don't know where she is. Thank you so, so much. So welcome again, and thank you for coming here tonight. I know the weather was crazy. I don't know how, but also in America and also here, the first 2 serious winter days happened to be when we made our events. So it's a siman bracha, I'm sure. But that didn't stop any of you from coming, and we greatly appreciate it, so thank you very much. Dear alumni, students, staff, and friends, I need your attention for just a few minutes. I know some of you are saying, who does this kid think he is? Asking for attention. We've been to Neve before he was born. We finally got together, and now he wants his attention for a few minutes to be quiet. But what I'm about to tell you is very, very important. So please listen for just a few minutes, and everything will be very clear. I've been serving as the Director of Developments in Neve for the last 3 years. I've had the privilege of spending many hours with Rabbi Refson, Rabbi Shalkovsky, Rabbi Edelstein, my dear brother-in-law, Rabbi Yonah Refson. And if there's one thing that I learned from all these hours with them, is that there's nothing in the world they care about more than the Neve and the success of its students. And I guarantee you that there's nothing, literally nothing in the world that will make them happier, more than if all of us together guarantee the future of Neve. Rabbi Refson and all the staff have been working extremely hard for the success of this campaign. They're not just asking you to help, they've been working extremely hard themselves, going all over the world. Like they said, we had 5 events last week all around America. This is their last event, and was probably the most important one, the largest one and the most important one. Okay, so this is how it's going to work. A lot of what I'm about to tell you, you'll see in the folders in front of you that the ambassadors are giving out to you now, or they gave out already. But a lot of it you won't see in there. So please listen, because this is very important. In another week, next Sunday and Monday, the 15th and 16th of December, we will be holding our mega global campaign for Neve. Like Raviona Refson said, some of our largest donors who really wanted to have a great impact on Neve, they've decided that they will triple whatever we make in these 2 days. But that is only if we make $2.5 million. If we do, they will give another $5 million. If we don't, then they won't either. Not only that, if we make more than $2.5 million, they will continue tripling whatever we make. So if we surpass our goal, we make 3, they will be giving 6. So what we're asking from you tonight, and this might sound a little hard to some of you, but trust me, it's a lot easier than you think, and I'll explain. We're asking from you to take upon yourself a personal goal, an amount that you feel that you could raise for the Neve campaign, to give and to get. So for example, if you take upon yourself $1,500 to raise for this campaign, and you give on your own, let's say $72 a month, for 12 months, you already have $864 towards your $1,500 goal. You're left with about $640 to raise from your friends and family. Anyone who gives a donation could spread it out up until 18 months. Okay, this is important also for you to know. Now, I believe many more of you are saying, now this guy is asking us not only to give, but also to raise. What are we, fundraisers? But let me ask you this. Who knows, what is the number one reason that people give? The number one reason. Does anyone know? Not tax. Not tzedakah. You're getting there. The number one reason that people give is because they've been asked. That is the number one reason. This is proven scientifically. The second reason people give is that they feel a connection to the person who is asking. The third reason is that they like the purpose you're asking for. So by turning to your friends and family, you actually have all 3 top reasons for them to give. Okay, you're asking, they feel a great connection to you, and I'm sure most of them love Neve. But even if some of them don't really know Neve, when you come to them and say, I've taken upon myself a personal goal to raise X amount of money for Neve, please help me reach my goal. This is what makes them give the most. Now, each and every one of you who take upon themselves a personal goal, we will create a personal link which we will send to you by email. This will be your personal page on the main website. You could then send this link to all your friends and family. Tell them, I took upon myself to raise a goal for Neve, to raise a certain amount for Neve. This is my link that I sent you. Please donate through my link. And they will be able to see live how the amount that you pledged grows and grows until finally you reach your goal. So if any of you are thinking here, who could I possibly turn to? Who do I have? I don't have anyone. Not all of us have wealthy relatives. Not all of us, know that many people. Let me suggest this. Just take out your phone. Go through the contacts. Write down 5, maybe 10 family members that you can send this link to. Write it down. And then continue going through your contacts and write down another 5 to 10 close friends that you can send this link to. Boom, before you know it, you've passed your goal. Trust me, this is how it works. It's been proven time and time again. The charity company that we're working with have done thousands of these campaigns. Most of them were successful. This method works. Now you have a whole week from today until next week, Sunday, Monday, to start working on this. It doesn't have to be in one day. You start turning to your friends, your family. You're going to get the link very soon, hopefully tomorrow. And you just start telling them, creating a buzz about this campaign. Telling them next week we have a 48-hour campaign. Everything has to be raised in those 2 days, $2.5 million. Now I must add, I'm sure that many of you have been turned to before many times for these kind of things. These campaigns, these matching, it's been going on for a while. A lot of you are burnt out already, and we can understand you. But dear alumni, staff and students, friends, this is Neve. This is your Neve. The Neve you love. The Neve that loved you and brought you home. Let's open our hearts for Neve. Now, as I end, I'd like to share with you something. When we started this whole thing, this whole idea of making this campaign, I was very worried. Very, very worried. You know, such a campaign with such a large amount has never been done based solely on women. And this part worried me. You know, they have to ask their husband, it's never been done before, what are we gonna do? And when I shared this worry, I'm almost finished. Just your attention for a little more. I'm almost finished. When I shared this worry with some staff members in Neve, they looked at me, and you know what they said? They looked at me and they said, you most probably haven't been to Neve long enough. We at Neve, we've proven more than once, women have power. When they want something that's important for them, they make it happen, no matter what. And yes, even a lot more than men. There we go, I hear their applause. Even a lot more than men. Now, no one is gonna sue you if you don't reach the goal. If you go home and tell your husband, listen, I took upon myself a certain goal, a certain amount, I have to raise it within the next week. If he insists that you lowered it a little, no one's gonna sue you. But I guarantee you, if you try just a little more than usual, you'll be surprised with the response you get. We've never done such a thing before, and I'm sure many of you haven't either. But there is no way in the world we could afford to miss this amazing one-time opportunity for Neve. Everything you give will be tripled for Neve. Everything we've been dreaming of, the next 50 years of Neve. Let's take this 50 years of Neve and help the next 50 years of Neve. Let's give so many others the chance that you got when you came to Neve. Dear ladies, this is real, this is true. It's gonna be tripled and it's happening now. We need each and every one of you, to do this together. We cannot do this alone. We need you more than we ever needed you before. The success of this campaign will be decided by you, the ladies in this room tonight. If each and every one of you say yes, together we could do this. We're gonna make this happen. It's a one-time thing. In another week, it's over. That's it. 1 week. That's all you have to invest. It's a lot. I'm not saying it's not, but it's only 1 week. It'll be over in another week. It's up to you if this campaign will succeed and thousands of our sisters will get the same opportunity you got, or chas v'shalom, I don't even want to say the word, F-A-I-L. In the folder in front of you, you have all the information that you need to send out the links and anything else you need to know for this campaign. The most important paper in this folder, please listen carefully to this. The most important paper in that folder is the paper that says personal pledge. We're asking, please, each and every one of you, fill up that paper. Take upon yourselves one of the amounts, one of the options that you see there. You could do this. We could do this. We could do this together. And please hand it back to the ambassador who gave you the folder. Each table has an ambassador, and they will be collecting soon. They will be collecting these pages with their personal goals. Please hand it back to them. I have to share with you, dear ladies, yesterday, just yesterday, last night, we had another event right here in this hall for the Israeli department. Do you know how much we raised in pledges just last night? Close to 1 million shekel just last night. Let's do this for our beloved rabbis. Let's do this for thousands of our sisters. Let's do this for Hashem. Thank you so much.
Volunteering.
שומר עלינו בנסתרות, גם שם איתנו אבא שלי הוא מלך העולם. אבא, 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 מלך העולם. מלך, 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 אבא של כולם. שוב ושוב אתה סולח, רק אליך או בורח, אבא, יום דעתי, אבא, אבא,